artificial intelligence. And it's impossible to understate the importance of that to the future. But that's the thing about a conference like this. There's so many topics of such vital relevance to the entire future, and it's hard to get a handle on all of them. So with that, I'd like to ask Ambassador Sorin Ducaru from the European Union Satellite Center to join me on stage. And we're going to have a discussion right now on the future of space and hybrid threats. So the thing to understand about this, and you grew up with the idea of space being something that government agencies sent people to go and investigate and explore, and all of that is wonderful. But the relevance of space to everyone in this room, everyone beyond this room, and everyone beyond them is absolutely enormous. Every time you take out your phone to find things, you're using a satellite constellation that's developed either by the US military or European partner or an Eastern European partner or somewhere else to find things. But also, if you engage in any sort of stock trading, if you have a retirement account that has that, if you use an ATM, then you're also relying in part on a timing signal that also comes from space-based constellations. And so this is technology now that basically provides structure for the entire international economy and really all of modern life, because it also helps with navigation of airplanes and certainly logistics all over the world. And again, like every financial transaction. And so one of the things that we're here to discuss today is how that's going to grow, and also how fragile that is. And if you want a sense of how fragile it is, and this is what we're going to get into because Ambassador Ducaru is a preeminent expert on this, but I can share an experience of my own. Go to Schriever Air Force Base in Colorado, where the US actually steers the global positioning system, the satellites that provide that timing function and also the navigation function for so many economic transactions all around the world, and also all humans getting from one place to another, and all Ubering and lifting, et cetera, et cetera. And in this room, at Schriever Air Force Base, there's about 5 airmen that actually run the thing. One that sort of watches for anomalies, 3 that steer it, 1 that sits over that airman's shoulder. The room is pretty cold. It's about 10 degrees colder than what's outside. They have to keep it this cold because the computers that they're working on are so old that they run hot. You know, like your phone, if you don't replace the battery for a little while, it starts to run hot. That's this entire room that steers the global positioning system for the United States. And the computers that these airmen are working on, many of the actual monitors and frames, they look older than the airmen, who average an age of about 22, 23 years old. So that's the entire stock market, all GPS, and basically the entire global economy is reliant on systems like that. And as we're going to talk here in a second, our reliance on these space-based assets is only going to grow. So first, give me a sense really quickly of what you do at the center so that we can understand then how to discuss this growing dependence that we're all going to be having.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me, and I'd like to thank GLOBSEC for having me again, and also for this question that allows me to express how I landed here. And I should start by saying that I have about a 15 years career in the transatlantic world, in NATO world, and 6 days career in the EU world since I just took up the job at the beginning of the month. So bear with me. I'm addressing this mainly for the perspective of my expertise, someone who was focused in the last period on the 2 spaces that I feel express the technological gold rush of our time. One is cyberspace, and I've did that a lot of stuff with NATO. The other one is outer space. And by the way, there's a fundamental interlinkage because it's about sensing data and everything goes, it's like strong connection. Yeah. What I'm doing, the European Union Satellite Center has a couple of functions. It's an intergovernmental agency. Right. It belongs to the member states. And it has the function of using satellite data, mainly some from government systems, high resolution, high say, sensitivity data, but also commercial satellites, and also data from other sensors like UAVs, so-called high-altitude pseudo-satellites that are scanning for Earth observation purposes, giving the situational awareness globally. And it's used for taking decision in foreign policy, in crisis management for operations, but also aspects like you know, management of frontiers. Frontex, for example, is a great user. OSCE, the OSCE mission in Ukraine benefits from data from this center. Also OPCW for you know, the aspects that have to do with the non-proliferation issues and so on. But then there are a couple of other functions that have to do intrinsically with space security, like space surveillance and tracking. The Satellite Center is the entity that does this function for the European Union and its member states. It also provides security functions for the European Union Commission space program, you know, from communication, government satellite communications to Galileo, GPS, so all these aspects, and you know.
Okay,